34. Okay. It says in a certain study, or a certain city, a study was conducted to see if the police department had a different proportion of minority employees than the fire department. Researchers randomly selected 200 employees from both the police and fire departments and took note of whether the employee was a minority or not. Alright? So, and it says 200 random police department employees, 80 of them were minorities. Of 200 random fire department employees, 50 of them were minorities. Is this evidence that the two departments have different proportions of minorities? Okay. Are we dealing with proportions or means? And do we have one sample or two samples? Yeah, we got two samples and we have proportions. Okay, so we have proportions and we have two samples. Okay, so we're doing a hypothesis test for two samples. So this is 34. Alright, what's our hypotheses when we're checking, seeing if there's a difference in proportions? What do we do? P1 equals P2, or P1 minus P2 equals 0. And then the alternative, P1 minus P2 not equal to 0. So that's 34. Okay. For 35, it's asking what is P hat. P hat in this case, we're going to take the numbers 80 plus 50 divided by 200 plus 200. Okay, so we have 130 over 400. I don't know what this is. 0.325. Great.
Yes.
35. Okay, number 36 says perform a hypothesis test. What is the test statistic? Okay, so for 36, let's first figure out our standard error. Okay, that's what we get. Alright, who can punch that into a calculator faster than me? I'm getting 0.0468. Is that right? Make sure you can do these things on a calculator. That's going to be our standard error. If I had a separate question that says what's the standard error in this problem, this would be your answer. But the question says what's the test statistic, okay? So 36 continued. The test statistic is we got to figure out the difference in proportions. So I got to do P1 hat minus P2 hat over the standard error. So in this case I got 80 over 200 plus, I'm sorry, minus 50 over 200 divided by 0.0468. 80 over 200 is what? 40% minus 25% over 0.0468. So I have 0.15, 0.046 divided by 0.0468. So this gives me 3.21 or 3.20. Maybe the rounding is a little bit different, but this is going to be our test statistic here. Okay? Is that good for number 36? Yeah. Alright, 37, it says perform a hypothesis test. Alright, and it says what's the p-value? So here I'm looking at 3.21, and it's a two-tailed test, so I'm going to find the area in this tail over here, and find the area in this tail over here. I'm just going to take the tail and double the area. So how much is to the right of 3.21? The answer here is 0.0007, right? Because if you look up 3.21, the answer you get is 0.9993. Alright, so I'm going to double that. So that means over here I also have 0.0007. So my total area is going to be 0.0014. This is my p-value. If you look up 3.21 in the Z table, you're going to have 0.9993. Okay? That's the area to the left. So you do 1 minus 0.9993 to get the area in the tail, which is 0.0007. We got to be comfortable using the Z table.
You would look up negative 3.21?
You can look up negative 3.21 and you'd have 0.0007 in this tail, and then you would just double it also. That's totally valid. Either way. Either way. Is that okay? Alright, and 38. Alright, so what is the conclusion we make with this p-value? Yeah, we reject the null hypothesis. Okay, and what does that mean in this this context? We have evidence that what? Evidence that there is a difference in the proportion of minority employees. Okay. So that's number 38. Is that okay? And 39, what does it mean to commit a type 1 error? So
we reject the hypothesis.
We rejected the null when the null was true.
Right.
Okay? Yeah, that would be type 1 error. What does it mean in this case? It means we think there's a difference in the proportion of minority employees, but in reality, there's no difference. Okay? So here we think, you know what, there's a different proportion of minority firefighters and police officers, but in reality, the proportions are the same. Okay? So we think there is a difference but in reality there is no difference. Okay, that's what a type 1 error would be in the context of this problem.